nowhere's near enough, because anything west of I-15 or I-5, pretty much gone. And so you've got all this loss of life and loss of property, et cetera, et cetera.
So how's it going?
Not too bad, how are you?
Madrid fault
Well,
is
serves you right.
where rail tracks run through,
You home for a bit? You got
is where
I have a niece that's getting married latter part of August.
and so it will pretty much
in
go
Des Moines,
halt to
Iowa.
delivery of food and supplies, and it will
I
affect
went to Davenport, Iowa last year.
Oh,
Bill
did you?
Wedding.
big time.
Yeah.
Although
Instead
we
of
won't
Chicago,
feel it
we'll
here,
go
they
to
said,
Davenport.
the one in Cascadia.
This is on the other
will
side of
feel
the
about
state.
100 miles away.
But,
The one
yeah,
in
everything was fun. The drive from Chicago
Missouri.
to Davenport was kind of enjoyable.
some miles.
Just,
You know, it surprises you because you
They said they've
think
had
I was
one other
flat,
one, and I
right?
can't remember what
But you
year
get on
it
the
was.
interstate,
I
it's
think
like
it was
this.
18 something. And they.
All right, I'm
had
seeing
the church
7:30.
bells
Everybody
ringing
together,
I think you're good, yeah.
7:30.
All right.
Massachusetts.
Okay, excuse me
different
for
kinds of
interrupting
problem.
conversations, but it's 7:30, and so we'll go ahead and start our meeting. So let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Terry, would you do a roll call for us, please?
Chair Lilly,
Here.
Commissioners Jackman,
Here,
Thomas,
Here.
Stanfield,
Here.
Schnicken.
Here.
All right, and then city staff, what do you guys
you don't have to, but you can if you want to. Misty always liked to, but
want? Garrett Senda,
here,
Travis Allen,
here,
and
because the only ones that really matter are
I
these
know.
guys. No, don't go there. Well,
All
we
right.
got quorum, so.
Okay, has everyone had an opportunity to read over the July 14th, 2026 meeting minutes? Any corrections or additions anyone wants to make?
Stephen Jackman was here, says he was absent.
Were you at that meeting?
That's,
Yes, I was.
Came late, but he was.
yeah, and
Okay. Very
just
good.
after that, it says that he seconded the motion, so he had to be here.
Yep.
Okay, I guess so. I wasn't, so I didn't know whether he was here or not.
That's it.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes with correction.
I move they be approved.
I'll second. Go ahead.
Okay, second by Commissioner Schnitkin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Again, I hope everyone's had an opportunity to read through those. It's obviously a review of things that were approved at the last public hearing. Any discussion on that subject? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Can we approve both of them at the same time?
You can't-
I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move to number 6, report of any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest. Anyone need to report anything? All right, thank you. Okay, Travis, you're on.
Good evening, Commissioners. Do we have anyone online? Okay, just let me know if they do. This is a variance for Circle K at 369 West Highway 26 in Blackfoot, Idaho. This sign variance is a request for mid-sign A2. Would you like to pull up that page 9? This is one of the signs requesting a variance. The proposed mid A2 sign is 30 feet in height and approximately 110 square feet of sign area. The sign height is within code allowance of up to 4 feet. However, the proposed sign area exceeds the 35 square feet allowed by code. If you go to page 13, the east elevation on the left-hand side of that page. The canopy word mark variance, the proposed field canopy includes Circle K identification on the east elevation. Due to the shorter length of the canopy elevation, the allowable sign area calculation requires a variance condition. The applicant is requesting approval of 2 sign variances in the Circle K project. The first request is to allow the proposed mid-A2 freestanding sign to increase from permitted 35 square feet of sign to approximately 110 square feet sign, while remaining within the permitted height limit. The second request is to allow the Circle K canopy word mark on the east elevation to exceed the sign area otherwise allowed by the applicable canopy sign calculation. The sign variance is a request to vary from the standard for background, area, height, illumination, and other signs, location, projection, and clearance. Any other standard prescribed in the sign code, if applicable, except for the sign variances, may not be applied to signs that are prohibited in accordance with the public hearing requirements of this title. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall have the authority to deny, approve, or approve with modifications a sign variance. All the following findings of fact shall be considered and clearly established by the Planning and Zoning Commission when granting a sign variance whole and part. No variance shall be granted unless it's shown that there are special circumstances applicable to the property involving the size, shape, topography, locations, or surroundings that do not apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district that are not a result of the voluntary actions of the applicant. Granting such sign variance will not constitute a grant of special privilege that is inconsistent with limitations upon other property in the vicinity and zone in which property is situated. And non-conforming signs in the vicinity surrounding the subject site may not be used to set the standard for compared with applications of new signs and shall not be used as justification or a hardship of special circumstance. And the sign variance in minimum necessary to alleviate the identified hardship or exceptional circumstance. And the approval, denial, or modification of any sign variance shall not provide precedent for any other sign variance in the city. And granting the sign variance will not materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the properties or improvements in the vicinity. The applicant has provided a letter from the company that supplies signs for the Circle K brand, requesting approval of the variance to City Code 10-66 Table of Permanent Sign Standards based on roadway visibility requirements and the operational needs of a fueling facility. The requested increase in sign area is intended to display current fuel pricing information and business identification. Staff finds that the applicant has identified special circumstances applicable to the property involving its location or surroundings that do not generally apply to other properties in the same zoning district and are not the result of voluntary actions by the applicant. Staff further finds that granting the sign variance would not constitute special privilege inconsistent with limitations on other properties in the vicinity and zone. The non-conforming signs in the vicinity have not been used as the standard or for comparison or as justification for hardship. That the requested variance is the minimum necessary to address the identified hardship or exceptional circumstance. That approval, denial, or modification of this variance will not establish precedent for any other sign variance in the city, and granting the variance will not materially be detrimental to public welfare or injurious to nearby properties or improvements. Comments from the superintendents. The wastewater treatment plant had no comment. Water superintendent said this does not affect the city of Blackfoot water system. Street department project doesn't affect the Blackfoot roadway. Sanitation department has capacity to supply sanitation services. Parks and Recs had no issues or inputs on this project, and Fire Marshal had no issues for fire code. Staff recommends approval of the requested sign variance, subject to the conditions listed below, because the proposed sign area is tied to roadway visibility, fuel pricing display, and site identification needs for the fueling facility. The sign variance application should be granted under the following conditions. The freestanding post sign under 40 feet tall is allowed to increase the area from 35 square feet to 110 square feet. And the canopy sign on the east elevation is allowed to increase from 0.5 square feet per linear foot of copy to 1.9 square feet per linear foot of copy. Any questions?
That was 1.29 according to this, 1.9.
Yeah, he's got one too.
Yeah, he has.
Okay.
You said 1.9.
I'm sorry, 1.29 is the correct number.
All right. Any questions for Travis? Do we have a representative from?
Yes, we do. We have Kenyon Corbett here. Yeah, come on.
Hi there.
Hello.
Do you have questions or just a statement from me?
Why don't you first provide a statement and then we'll.
Actually, first, write your name and address.
Okay, Kenyon Crouch. I live in Idaho Falls, 688 Deacon Court in Idaho Falls. And I work for Sign Pro. Sign Pro has been the contractor that's been contracted to install the signage if it's approved. And then just says, on behalf of Circle K, we respectfully submit the request for sign variance for the proposed Circle K development located at 396 West Highway 26 Blackfoot. The request variances are necessary due to the unique operational and site-specific circumstances of this property, which differ from other properties within the same zoning district. The results are not self-created hardships, but rather driven by the site's location, roadway visibility requirements, and the operational needs of modern fueling facilities containing multiple services under one roof. On number one, the proposed mid A2 sign is 30 feet. A lot of this is the same as what was in the report.
Okay. Anything else?
And it's basically just the, I know I've been working on signs for a long time, my entire working career pretty much. And if we were to be stuck with the 35 square feet, you'd have all the information for three different, the fueling requirements, the store identity, and then there's another third party that's in there. All of that on one sign face up at the top would just not, it wouldn't be very readable. And I think that's the main reason for asking for additional things, is basically like, granted the pricing, that's kind of a requirement on their end. They can't just have little tiny pricing up there where people can't see. So the idea is to have pricing that's relevant, the Circle K store ID, and then the ID of the other thing other business that's located under the same roof. And so that's the main reason there. With the canopy, it is the same size as what's on the front, which the front is allowable just based on the size. The side is small, but the property can't really have they can't really put a big canopy bigger than what they have already. So that's the main reason for that.
Very good, thank you. Any questions? All right, so we'll open a public hearing. Do I need to have a motion to do that?
You just
Okay.
open.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. The only individuals that I have here is Kenyon, who's just given his presentation in favor. So we appreciate that. There's no one to testify neutral and no one to testify in opposition. Is there anyone in the body that would like to speak on this subject? Okay, given that we have no testimony, then we'll close the public hearing. Any discussion? No? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I'm moving to approve the signage as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the sign variance. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. so we'll just move to the next item, variance for the rear lot line setback and minimum frontage requirement.
Yes, this variance is for Michael Harrison at the location for the construction site is 598 Lincoln Street in Blackfoot, Idaho. This type of variance is for a reduced lot size, reduced rear setback, and a reduced frontage in the high-density residential HDR1 zone. Granting this variance will not conflict with the spirit or intent of the comprehensive general plan, or the city will not affect in changing in zoning. This is either a hardship or associated with the property itself, or exceptional circumstance relating to the intent use of the property that is not generally applicable to the property or permitted use of the district. Granting such relief will not be materially detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or injurious to the property improvements of other property owners, or the quiet enjoyment of such property or improvement. The ordinance 11.4A7 lot size, rear setback and frontage requirements. The minimum lot size for HDR1 is 22,780 feet, or roughly a half acre. This lot is 0.24 acres, approximately 10,545 feet. The rear setback for HDR zone is 20 feet. They're asking it to be reduced to 15 feet. The frontage is 60 feet, and they're asking it to be reduced to 38 feet. The applicant is requesting variances to the ordinances, which establishes minimum lot size, rear setback, and frontage requirements in the high HDR zone. The request relief applies to dimensional standards only and would not change the property zoning designation or permitted uses. The applicant proposes to demolish the existing boarded-up single-family residential structure, and if the variance is approved, the construct of two-family townhouse-style dwelling under one ownership. A two-family dwelling is permitted use in the HDR zone according to the submitted site plan. The proposed lot size, rear setback, and frontage are as follows: 10,545 square feet, 15-foot rear setback, and a 38-foot frontage. HDR1 zoning was adopted in July of 2021 under Ordinance 2208, and the current dimensional standards were adopted in March of 2023 under Ordinance 2236. The property is an established lot that predates most dimensional standards because the lot existing size, frontage, and configuration. The Planning and Zoning Commission may consider whether the property presents an exceptional circumstance related to the intended residential use that is not generally applicable to other property or permitted uses in the district. Neighboring lots at 620 and 640 Lincoln Street contain fourplex structures. Building permits for those structures were applied for in January of 2021, and certificates of occupancy were issued in November of 2022, and that was before the dimensional standards were adopted and changed. At that time, the zoning designation was commercial 2. The associated lots remain under one ownership and have approximate rear setbacks of 12 feet. The rear property line abuts the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way, where additional structure development is unlikely. The remaining surrounding area consists primarily of single-family residential uses and open space associated with the Roman Catholic Diocese campus. The applicant attended a site plan review meeting and has applied for and was issued a demolition permit. Justification for this variance is consistency with the comprehensive plan. It supports resident infill, expands residential opportunity, and make efficient use of existing infrastructure on an existing lot. Staff finds that the property's established lot size, frontage, and configuration create an exceptional circumstance because the lot predates the current HDR1 dimensional standards and is constrained in a manner not generally applicable to the newly created lots in the district. Staff finds that granting this requested relief is not expected to be material detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or injurious to nearby properties because the proposed use is permitted in the HDR1 zone, and department reviews do not identify unresolved service or safety concerns. Would you go ahead and pull that concept up? Comments from superintendent involve sewer availability fee of $7,000. The sewer location, water and superintendent has an existing 1-inch water surface. Developer will need to ensure that it's sufficient for the project. Street department says there's little or no impact to traffic flow. Sanitation department has capacities to supply sanitation services to the property. Parks and Rec had no issues or input on this project. Fire marshal had no issues for a duplex at this location with proposed setbacks. Staff recommends approval of the variance request to reduce the minimum lot size from 22,780 square feet to 10,545 square feet. Reduce the rear setback from 20 feet to 15 feet, and reduce the original required frontage of 60 feet to 38 feet. Based on the findings above, the request supports residential infill on an established lot, remains consistent with HDR1 zoning designation, and is not expected to compromise public health, safety, or welfare, or the character of the surrounding neighborhood. Have any questions?
So you say the lots that are on both sides have an approximate rear setback of 12 feet?
The lot on the west side does have the setback of 12 feet where the fourplexes are located.
Right.
There is a residential lot to the east of this lot, and it maintains a greater setback. It has about the same street frontage and the same front setback, but it is a irregular shape as well. You can kind of see it on the picture on the right there where it has Barnhart Edition, where it starts saying that. So you can kind of see the roof of that house pushed all the way to the front of that lot.
So this would be, the setback on the one side is 12 feet. This would be even, it would be more than that.
Yeah, we're asking for 15 feet,
Yeah.
and the others are around 12. So it's kind of following the new character of the neighborhood with the multifamily housing units.
Right. Okay, any questions from commissioners?
So they'd be tearing down a vacant house?
It's a house that hasn't been abandoned or condemned, but it has been requested in the past to be boarded up to prevent vandalism.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, do we have a representative?
Yes, we do. We have Michael Harrison here.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Yes. Michael Harrison, Durabuild LLC, 333 North, 500 West in Blackfoot.
Thank you. Any additional information you
Yeah.
want to add to what's been said?
I represent Diego Bustamante and his wife Patricia. They purchased this property not very long ago. We have torn that house down with a permit and removed it, which definitely was an improvement to the neighborhood. We've also just recently removed over 21 trees. It's hard to tell how many trees because it was really overgrown, but they've been removed and definitely fixed. So it's, I think it'll look a lot better. But anyway, yeah, I just respectfully request that we be able to continue forward and be able to build a structure on here. It is difficult to fit a duplex on this structure. It's difficult to fit anything on this lot, but we feel that we can still give it a good looking view. It also is kind of a quiet, private area over there, even though there's fourplex next door. It's a nice little neighborhood and kind of on the end corner of a street. And we just respectfully request that we be able to proceed forward with it, even though it doesn't meet all the requirements. It was zoned that way, and we're trying to meet the zoning requirements that we can. So.
All right, appreciate that. Any questions?
That's what they're tearing down.
That's what they tore down.
So each apartment or duplex or whatever, they have the 2 parking spaces?
Yes.
And then where's garbage and?
So the garbage would have to be stored up against the house, and then pulled out to the road. because we're not allowed to have, we're not big enough to have dumpster. Yeah, they require bigger units than what we have to have a dumpster there.
And that's not a problem with
No,
the
but-
During the
sanitation?
site plan meeting,
This is the
sanitation suggested
Bedrooms
two
are
codes,
really
one for each residence,
Yeah.
billable separate, and be able to be pulled out to the frontage for pickup by the right loading garbage truck.
Okay.
How many bedrooms are upstairs?
I tried to pull it up before here and I cannot remember. I think it's just a 3-bedroom unit. I don't remember exactly the layout on those for sure.
So one on the main, then 2 upstairs.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so with 3 bedrooms, how many parking spaces do we have to have?
Well, it's either 2.5 per unit or 1 parking space per bedroom, whatever the greater is. We would have to increase that parking that's there. This was the original concept and the application for variance.
So what's the proposed parking going to be?
It would be 6 parking spaces.
And that's your plan to provide 6 parking?
That was not part of the plan, I guess. It was presented as this. I don't know that there is space for 6 on that, so.
And then I have a question about snow removal also. Will snow, where will it go?
Yeah, snow would all have to be stored on the one side over there.
In the back?
In that 148-foot side?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you could get 5 parking spots, but I don't know that you could get 6.
So does that have to be requested as a separate variance for the parking? Or can we include that in this?
Well, it's a separate topic, so if they, but I'm just thinking, because they won't have the same setbacks, so they might be able to fit that in there. I mean, 'cause you got, you know, like Jim said, certainly 5, and that's just widened, it'd be 6. So I think, it probably fits, I think that's something that can be worked through, and if not, then I think that would have to be a separate variance.
Okay, so you're aware of what the needs are then?
Am now.
Okay.
When we presented it for it, it wasn't mentioned, and so or if it was, I do not recall, so.
That's fine.
Well, his site plan meeting on my staff report was June 14th. I'd have to compare that to when we did update our parking variance.
It'd be before June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was before June.
Yeah, that's only a month ago when you did the site plan. But I mean, like I say, I think that would have to be a separate topic, because it wasn't given notice for that tonight. But if you look at this rough diagram, I'll bet you they can make it fit.
Yeah, because you don't have to have the variance on the sides.
Right.
So you could take that all the way realistically.
And like you said,
End of the
certainly one
property
in the middle
line.
there is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, because they've got it blocked out like there's not gonna be one there, but yeah, there could be.
And I realize that's my responsibility to check into, and I didn't, so I take the
But
responsibility.
anyway, I think that's an issue you can work through, and if not, we just go through this process again, so it's not a big deal.
And then you'd have to request a variance. And
Variance.
Is it 2.5 or is it 3 per unit?
It's 3.
3.
Whichever is greater, which would make it 3.
if there's 3 bedrooms, then you still weren't sure
Yeah,
about that.
I'm not sure on that one. I've got about 4 plans in my head, and I can't remember on that one.
If
but
it's
this
4
is about the
bedrooms,
only
you're
one
out of
fit.
luck.
No, it definitely was not 4 bedrooms, so there's no physical room for that.
All right, well, you're aware of the situation,
Yep.
so I think we can proceed with this, and then
if we have to have another variance, then I would
you'll
have
need to come back.
Okay,
All right, if it can't be fit in there. It looks like it could, but anyway.
okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right, we'll open the public hearing. And again, I only have Michael here testifying in favor. There's no one to testify neutral and no one to testify in opposition. Anyone else here going to make a testimony? Okay, I don't see anyone else. So we'll close the public hearing. Any further discussion? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
Can we move that we, with note of the parking, or?
Yeah, so your motion tonight would be to approve the variance for purposes of lot size and setbacks.
And so we wouldn't have to necessarily talk
Yeah, so you,
anything about
yeah,
permit
cause what we didn't
parking.
get notice, you're not gonna address parking tonight.
Yeah.
But it may fit, so it may not be a big deal.
Exactly. So I move that we approve the variance.
Okay. Got a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's been approved. All right, you have city happening for us. Thank you very much.
Yes, I do.
By the way, you're welcome to leave. I'm
it's
sorry,
fun to hang
I should
out.
have said that earlier. I apologize.
I was going to, but it's all good.
No worries.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
All right. Coming up in our America 250 celebration, we have a sidewalk art walk in downtown on August 8th coming up. Also have a Chamber of Blackfoot golf tournament coming up on August 5th. It's a team of 4 is $500, including 2 carts, green fees, and 4 lunch tickets for your team if you're interested in that.
Is the art walk the Chambers
Yes.
one that they're doing?
Well, it's America 250s. It's on their
But
advertising.
they've been doing a monthly one, and this is their monthly one
Yeah,
as
this
an art
is-
walk instead of a vendor.
Yeah. I think it kind of coincides with this other vendor that got approved by city council, the one for the Broadway.
one's on the 21st.
Summer market, that's the, this one says it's the 8th.
8th of August?
Third Friday's 21st.
I got this from the Chamber of Commerce and it says it's the 8th.
Huh. Interesting.
I saw a bunch of kids out chalking the sidewalk when I came.
All right, well, we can have a contest. I think you can win $100 or something like that.
Good for them.
Well, you gotta
I got
register.
down on my hands and knees.
You gotta register, so we're not marking up places that shouldn't be marked up or have officers come visit them.
What day was that tournament, golf tournament?
Golf tournament was August 5th.
See what he focused on.
Says there's
See what
raffle
he focused on,
prizes
the
as
golf.
well. And
Noticed that.
that's the Greater Blackfoot Chamber of Commerce tournament. Also in city happenings, we opened the bid for Well 14 Well House on July 22nd. It's with the engineers right now for approval or review, I think of it. Broadway, Highway 91 realigned sewer line should end on Thursday. That's the scheduled walkthrough. I noticed they're about done. Looks like they had a little bit wet concrete ready to settle around manholes and things like that that were still there. But the scheduled walkthrough is on Thursday.
And which one's that on?
That is the sewer
Highway
replacement in front of Slate Mountain. Stops at Slate Mountain, starts at Walker Street, where all the construction zone is. So that would not bother you after Thursday, supposedly. Don't quote me on that. Phase 3 of the wastewater treatment plant for phosphorus heavy metals has begun. We've had to move that up quite a bit in our maintenance routine. We'll also go into phases 4, 5, and 6 for capacity after phase 3 is complete to deal with phosphorus and heavy metal materials. Let's see.
Is that going out to bid or that's already been bid and awarded?
I think that's already been out to bid, but I'm not for sure. West Bridge Street, we turned that over to, I think, JUB to apply for our grant. The Build America grant is for $25 million and the expected expense to rebuild that bridge is $24.6 million to do that bridge. But thankfully, we have them representing us in the grant and the application in order to rebuild that bridge. It also is a registered historical landmark, so we have permission from the Historical Society and have met all their requirements as well. Twin Bridges Landing, we're in application right now with Idaho Department of Water Resources for a non-consumptive water permit. With that, if we get that approved, we will proceed forward with a possible fishing pond in conjunction with Idaho Fishing Game.
Nice.
And that's about it that I have for city happenings, other than we'll extend and connect Tana Drive in the spring with Ridgecrest over there. I have a deal with the property owners to dedicate that over. I had it surveyed, and that's when our new paver will put it into schedule in the spring. Be able to use our new paver.
That's good news for us in that area.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Not unless you guys have any other questions.
No, I would just recommend that you all go online and listen to Robin Williams' description of the game of golf. It's very funny and very good. All right. Thank you very much, Travis. Anything else that needs to be brought up at this meeting? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.